Welcome back, everyone. This is Rabbi Nathan Zaboulani studying with you to be Yishak Arama, the Akedat Yishak on Parashat Mikess. We are going to be analyzing the main acknowledgement and recognition that the brothers had that they sinned, that they did something wrong all those years ago regarding Yosef. Now, when does this take place? When do they confess? When do they admit what they did wrong? It takes place at a very peculiar moment while they are in Egypt. And this is what Yishak Arama picks up on, and he analyzes and notices that it's very strange that it happens. Not that it happens at all, but that it happens specifically at that moment. And he gives us a tremendous lesson and shows the beauty and the genius of the orchestrated plan that Yosef has. The Pesukim describe how the brothers go down to Egypt, and Yosef has a whole plan, and he ensnares them and puts them in jail. There are 3 days. All the brothers that went down to Egypt, of course, aside from Binyamin, they're all in jail for 3 days. On the third day, he says to them, this is what you're going to do to survive. He confesses that he fears God. If you're being honest, says Yosef to the brothers, you're going to keep one brother behind in this jail. Go, take care of your family. That's why you came down here in the first place, to provide for them food. Go back to your homes and give the food to your families. But you're going to come back here and you're going to bring the youngest son Binyamin in order to verify the whole story that you made and told me up until now. Now look at the reaction immediately after they're freed from jail. What do they say? How do they respond one to another? Aval ashemim anachnu. We're guilty, they say to each other. Al achinu, regarding our brother. Which brother? Yosef. Asher ra'inu tzarat nafsho. We saw his suffering. Bitchaneno eleinu v'lo shamanu. And he begged us, and we didn't listen. Alken ba'a eleinu hatzara hazot. That's why all this is happening to us. What an odd timing to just break out in confession of a sin that you did so many years ago. Why? Why all of a sudden right now, when they're freed from jail, do they make this confession and they're inspired to do this kind of teshuvah for what they did to Yosef all those years ago? This is the question Yishak asks when he starts to analyze these pesukim. They're in jail. They're all depressed and they're all upset and they're also, maybe they'll do cheshbon nefesh and they'll analyze, but while they're in jail, right? They don't do anything. Now all of a sudden they start to confess once they're freed. So Rabbi Yishak Arama provides a beautiful explanation of why, what inspired them, what brought them to this recognition. They realized that this man, who's a stranger, who's a nobody to them, starts to have compassion on them. He's doing this all not because they have any leverage on him, not because they can even talk to him, but he's doing this all on his own. They start to compare and contrast the way that they treated Yosef to the way that this man, who happens to be Yosef, is treating them. And it is very different on 3 accounts. And the contrast and the stark difference on the way that they acted towards Yosef compared to the way that this man is acting towards them comes to the forefront of their mind, and it's very clear how cruel they were back then. Difference number 1. This man, he is having compassion on strangers that are coming from another land. But we were cruel and had no compassion on our brother, our very own flesh and blood. That is difference number 1. They didn't have compassion on their brother, but all of a sudden, randomly, this guy is having compassion on them and is letting them out of jail and letting them go back home. This man is having compassion and is recognizing the need for our children and our family back home in Eretz Canaan that they need to eat. But he doesn't know who they are. He has never seen them before. We saw with our own eyes Yosef, and we did not care. This man, Yosef, no one asked him to have compassion on us. No one begged him. They were put in jail, and they had no way to communicate to the man. They had no way to make petitions or pleas. They're stuck in a hole with no access to anybody. But Yosef was begging in front of us. He was pleading in front of us not to do it. And we didn't listen to him. On all 3 of these accounts, the brothers were in stark contrast different than the way Yosef was acting towards them. In recognizing the chesed that this man is doing to them, they realize how cruel and how terrible they were, the way that they acted towards Yosef. So the peculiarity of what they are admitting right now is the timing. Why are they now admitting to their sins that happened so long ago, all of a sudden now, not even when they're in jail, when they're freed from jail? And the reason is because, explains Rabbi Yishak Arama as a summary, that the way that they were acting was so cruel back then, and they recognize and are aware of how cruel they are. It's crystal clear once they see how this man had so much compassion, even though he had every reason not to be compassionate to them, and they had every reason to be compassionate to Yosef, and on all those specific accounts, they were not compassionate, rather they were cruel to him. And by doing so, it seems as though Yosef did this deliberately. He contrasted every single point that they should have done, and he did it towards them in order to model for them the proper behavior, in order to demonstrate to them how they should have acted. This is a tremendous lesson of musar for all of us. When you see that a person is not doing what they are supposed to be doing, sometimes the best way to bring them back on the right path and to recognize what they're doing wrong is to model to them and to show them in those specific circumstances how best to behave. And maybe that way we can inspire those that are around us to be and to go on a better path. Zaku Baruch, thank you for joining us on our learning of Rabbi Yitzchak Arama. Please join us next week as we explore Parashat Vayigash. Zaku Baruch and Shabbat Shalom.